I would be delighted if Mark started off the morning as the Dean of the School of Law at UCC.
Thanks very much, Zita, and good morning in Ireland to everyone. I'm Mark Poustie, Dean of the School of Law. Very warm welcome to all of you to the School of Law's Student Career Webinar. And this is focusing on careers that are possible if you take one of our LLMs. But first of all, I wanted to say a little bit about the school itself. The school does have a very strong global reputation. We've been ranked in the top 100 law schools in the world by the QS subject rankings for 4 years running. In the top 75 for the last 3 years running. We've been first in Ireland for 2 out of the last 3 years, and we're in the top 20 in the EU. And we're very proud of this, and it's been a real team effort. But it is partly dependent on our academic reputation, the quality of our research, and also our employer reputation. And our employer reputation very much reflects the quality of our graduates that we produce. So again, we're really proud of the ranking, and I hope that might be one of the things that attracts you to come to us to study an LLM. So our LLMs are principally used by students to develop a specialized career in an area that's related to the LLM. Not necessarily as a qualified legal practitioner. They can also be used as a stepping stone to a PhD. All our master's degrees can either be taken full-time or part-time, and you do 60 credits of taught classes, and then their 30 credits are devoted to the dissertation and the associated research methods module. Academic entry standards, normally a 2-1 degree or equivalent from another jurisdiction. Doesn't necessarily need to be in law. We will consider those who are coming from other disciplines and also people who have professional experience. The only program where a law background really is required is the general LLM degree. For those whose first language isn't English, we would normally go for English language qualification of IELTS 6.5 overall with no element below 6, or equivalent from TEFL or Duolingo. Today's session is very much about careers. So what we're doing here is we're having short presentations from program directors, and that's then followed by presentations by graduates. And we're trying to ensure that there is a graduate for each program, but I think for the LLM in intellectual property and e-law, now renamed Law, Technology and Innovation, it's possibly only the program director who's speaking, Zita, if that's correct. Okay. So, and there'll also be opportunities for question and answer with the program director and the graduate after the end of each of our presentations. So if you're only interested in one program, you only need to join for that session. The whole of it is being recorded, so it will be made available more broadly after the session today. And if you do have follow-up questions, I mean, please feel free to reach out and talk to us. So that's by way of introduction as Dean. I also happen to be Program Director of the Master's degree in Marine and Maritime Law, and I was going to give you a brief introduction to that. So this program provides an opportunity to study a kind of balanced curriculum between maritime topics, which are more commercial, and also marine topics, which might be more environmental. So there's a common core of introduction to the law of the sea, admiralty law, and marine, environmental, and natural resources law. And then you've got an opportunity to specialize either on the maritime side, so for example, in port law, sail insurance and carriage of goods by sea, shipping finance, global maritime security, or other commercial or dispute resolution subjects, which may be drawn from the curricula of other LLMs. In addition, There's also the possibility of doing more environmental topics, for example, climate law and policy, biodiversity, international environmental law, and so on, and also human rights topics, for example, given there is a strong linkage, for example, between law of the sea and refugee issues these days. A real highlight of the course is the Law of the Sea clinical module. So the school has a fantastic partnership with the Irish Naval Service, and the Law of the Sea clinical module involves a visit to the naval base at Haulbowline and actually participation in a simulated maritime law enforcement exercise on board one of the Irish Navy's warships. I think this is unique in the world, and it's a fantastic opportunity to see the kind of issues that maritime law enforcement face. Kind of assessment that students are doing in that module is you're having to provide advice, legal advice, to the Navy about what their powers are in a particular situation. And the kinds of scenarios that we've developed are ones including drug trafficking, human trafficking, and also potential foreign interference with undersea cables, which, as you may know, has been in the news very recently in Ireland. We also do focus on many topical issues such as plastics pollution of the ocean, marine protected areas, seabed mining, the regulatory framework for offshore renewable energy, and also issues such as piracy or threats from rebel groups towards shipping. The program is delivered in a hybrid way. All the modules except one are recorded, so it is possible to take the program remotely, although we obviously welcome attendance in person. The only module that is not recorded, perhaps for obvious reasons, is the Law of the Sea clinical module, which involves physical attendance at the naval base and on board ship. And obviously there's some security concerns, which is one of the reasons we can't record. There are a number of expert practitioners who contribute to the program. So for example, Dr. Vincent Power, he's a partner at A&L Goodbody in Dublin. He's perhaps the leading author in English language on European maritime law. Captain Patrick Burke of the Irish Naval Service, who's the chief legal advisor to the Irish Defence Forces. Kieran McCarthy, who's a leading Irish barrister who practices in the maritime law field. And the LLM has helped graduates go on to a variety of careers, some on the commercial side, including as underwriters for protection and indemnity, clubs such as Steamship Mutual, working for law firms in Ireland that deal with fisheries law, working in China in firms that have shipping practices, working for renewable energy companies that are dealing with offshore renewables. In one case, as a legal advisor to the Irish Navy. In another case, as a registrar to the National Industrial Court in Nigeria. That was a student who focused very much on the international law background to employment law conditions for those who work in the merchant marine. Some have gone on to PhDs. We have one master's student who went on to a PhD with ourselves and is now a lecturer in Maynooth University in Dublin.